What do you want to start on? You want to start on what's a good?
He's hiding something. The top one.
This one?
Yep.
What's this about?
Portobello? They taste too good. They can't be that good for you.
Portobellos have a problem.
I knew it.
All mushrooms should be cooked, and portobellos in particular.
I watched this episode.
You know this guy's a mushroom
Fanatic.
wizard. You know he's a mushroom wizard when he's got that trilby hat.
Yeah, he's got the hat.
Yeah.
I think this is this Dennis McKenna?
I do not know. It's probably in the.
What is
Terrence
Terrence McKenna's brother?
Yeah, Terrence McKenna's brother, yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
There is a unfortunate group of compound called agaritines. You should cook them, and if you cook them well, then those mushrooms are not a problem. If you don't cook them well, then these hydrazines are potentially problematic. So there are beneficial compounds
The
that
music is so
in some
droning.
balance may outweigh the negative effects of the hydrazines.
What are the negative benefit or the negative effects of this?
This is an explosive area of conversation, and it puts my life in danger. So I reserve the right not to answer your question.
Whoa, I didn't expect that. Puts your life in danger talking about portobello mushrooms? He's looking at me silently. I will respectfully move on.
Thank you.
Man.
Yeah, I remember that part. Maybe this isn't Dennis McKenna, but
What is that, a bit on FDA or something?
What are your guys' opinions on that? I want to hear what you guys think.
well, there's some mushrooms that are still Schedule 1, and so for him to say that I don't know if this is really why he's like, I decline to talk about that on, like it's a fucking court hearing.
I will not continue further
Yeah.
talking about it.
I think he just doesn't want to admit that he's been in contact with Schedule 1 drugs.
I see.
And that he's been like messing around with them because maybe if you don't cook them and you eat them, it's a lethal dose, and maybe there's been an issue with that, and that would be my guess.
I researched this, and so the compound, I think I don't know how to fucking pronounce it. It's like agritite or whatever.
Sure.
Agaritine or whatever.
Yeah. That name is like derived from the class of that mushroom, which is, the small button mushrooms, which grow into the portobello. Like they're all underneath that same group.
It's fascinating how much you know about this.
I barely know anything.
Mr. fucking Federal here.
Mr. Chemist.
Hey, they're sold worldwide, supermarkets and everything.
Right.
So I looked it up, and that chemical breaks down in like your liver and kidney, and it turns into hydrazine, which can be like in large amounts is literally just jet fuel. So that is like super cancerous, super carcinogenic.
Sure.
But they have done some tests, but they haven't been like peer reviewed. But they've only done real tests on mice with that compound that's in the mushrooms, and they're like, oh, it doesn't cause cancer. It's not cancerous to humans unless you eat a large quantity of them.
Right.
But it is still pretty crazy. And apparently, it has like mutagenic effects on the mice as well.
What's that mean? What's that word?
It can affect their DNA.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but not only can it affect their DNA in a bad way, it can also affect it in a good way.
Sure.
But I couldn't find any more details on like what does it mean to affect DNA in a good way,
Evolution.
Positive mutation.
Yes. Yeah. There's the Dennis McKenna. No, Terrence. Terrence is Terrence McKenna
He's like
had
the pioneer
of psychedelics, and he was a big proponent of saying the stoned ape theory, which the stoned ape theory is that when we were monkeys, we would eat mushrooms, and it would have a positive evolutionary change in our brain, and it would expanded our brain, and it did various sort of things. And I know I butchered his stoned ape theory, but
he's basically saying that mushrooms gave us consciousness as a evolutionary trait.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I will say also cooking and freezing, weirdly enough, gets rid of over 75% of that potentially hazardous compound.
So it's raw. If you eat it raw.
Yeah, if you eat it raw, that's when
it's a good thing I don't like mushrooms.
It's a good thing I don't like. Yeah.
They're so cool, but they taste so crappy.
They're so cool. Like the fact that they breathe oxygen, like they're closer to us than they are plants. That's kind of cool. Like fungus is a really cool thing, and just the fact of how many shapes fungus can come into,
For sure.
it's really wild. And I like how many, like, oh, the caps, oh, there's like little like, it's just so cool. And this stuff comes out of the ground in one day, you know, which is wild, because like when I walk around like the countryside, like let's say it's early morning, it's a nice morning, maybe it's not too cold, you know, maybe at least 50 degrees, I'll see like mushrooms pop out of the ground. It's super cool to like pick it. It's so fresh, and you get to see it like before it rots. Like, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Why are you attracted to this content?
This is not
a long
like
story.
Kahaya.
There's a
This
little
is
darky
so
song.
far from you. Yeah. Which one?
There's a little darky song that just came out. I don't know what it's called, but one of the little bars he had was, y'all would rather check your fashion while your insides rot. So it's like getting on people who are more into materialistic things,
Right.
instead of worrying about their physical health.
Yeah.
That was his bit. And I was like, I wonder what's in our food.
Right.
And I literally was listening to that song, and I just went to YouTube right after. I started getting like all of this content about like society and things in our food and shit like that. And I was like, that's weird. I'm going to save it.
I know. Once you go down the FDA YouTube rabbit hole, you're like, what is even safe to eat at this point?
Yeah. Even like the FDA, maybe that's not the right acronym, the government acronym, but there's I was even diving deep in the malaria medication that they used to give in the 80s and 90s, and this malaria medication would be given to people who would go to India or Africa, coming from America, going to India or Africa, and they would give this medication out, and it could cause you, if you had alcohol, it could cause you to go delirious and cause you to like have memory loss and complete amnesia, so you wouldn't remember your name, you wouldn't remember who you are.
That's crazy.
And then imagine that, and you're in a foreign environment. Yeah,
that's insane. That's
wild. And then there was some instances where it caused people to be so violent they would kill people. Whew. Oh my god,
that's insane.
And you talk about like, they said like there's a few cases of people forgetting that they couldn't have alcohol. They would have like 1 or 2 beers, and then it would like just kick in. Yeah, pretty wild stuff. And that was approved for like 20 years. Yeah,
that's some witchcraft right there. All the African people are like, oh my god, don't get near him. He's been controlled by the devil. We got witchcraft on his ass.
We need an exorcist right now.
Get the witch doctor.
Do you want to keep going on this stuff?
Sure.
Oh, you have all JRE,
When
huh?
you see a farm-raised salmon, it's a dark red color.
All
A lot of
JRE.
times what you're getting is people putting food coloring on the
Yeah,
salmon
they
itself
can.
in order to make it that color. I was watching this video the other day where this gentleman was talking about farm-raised salmon being one of the most toxic things that you can consume, which is so wild.
just turn it
Salmon is just immediately
turn it
associated
down.
with health.
Okay.
This guy takes this
Too
fillet
low.
of salmon
You
and
good?
he opens it up, and he's like, look at how easily these bones separate from the flesh, and the color of the flesh is very different,
Ew.
which is one of the reasons why they have to
That's a
use
huge
dye.
difference.
Because if you get a wild salmon, it's from the insects that they consume that turns their flesh that color.
And when I listened to your episode with RFK and he was talking about the mercury levels in fish,
Yeah.
I mean, I was not a huge fish eater to begin with, but after that I was like, whoa, this is incredible.
People just don't associate salmon at all with being something that's not good for you.
Why should consumers have to, second guess the nutritional density of food?
It's insane, isn't it?
It is insane. Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Fish is going to become a really weird thing soon, because fish from I say factory farming, maybe that's not the correct term, but like we're overfishing. We're not going to have fish by like 2050, I think is like a stat.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we'll
That's
have
pretty
no
close.
fishable fish by 2050. And then the fact that most of our fish now are either coming from farms or lakes. It's interesting. Maybe I'm butchering that fact. Maybe it's not exact, but like, I don't know. And a lot of, what's the other stuff? Like imitation. There's a lot of imitation
there
fish
is.
now.
And
Which I don't know what the difference
Imitation meat.
Imitation, yeah. So like there's imitation crab. It's like a different fish, but it tastes like crab. Like I'm not mad at that stuff. I just want to know, like, is that detrimental to myself,
I've
to my
tried
health?
before, and it actually does taste like meat. It's like shredded jackfruit. It's supposed to taste like pulled pork.
Interesting. Is it?
Yeah,
Does it?
Sort of does.
Interesting.
Yeah. About the only thing that I ate that was like actually decent, worth trying.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to switch over from meat, it's that pulled pork thing. It's just interesting. The jackfruit.
Yeah. I think, I hate to say it, only grass-fed animals is what I trust now. Like steak, right? Cow, pig, and chicken.
That's the only tofu. You guys
I've
ever
not
had tofu?
I have. Yeah, it's garbage.
I don't enjoy it.
I think it's pure
like
garbage.
Beans, right?
You know what I could start to
soy,
appreciate?
Isn't it?
Soybeans.
I could start appreciating salads more though.
Yeah.
It's all about what you put, like the dressing you put on top of it. That's all it is, really.
But also how
and
it's
the toppings.
prepared.
For sure.
That's
Gosh, there's a lot of...
you want it fresh.
Yeah.
Nice and cold. Cool.
Sure. There's a lot of situations where people get sick from salads at restaurants because they don't wash it properly, or there's salmonella. Is that what it is?
Yep.
And that's a big issue too.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
It's about the furthest I would go vegan wise.
Is salads?
Strictly salad diet.
Mm-hmm. Like if I was forced to go non-meat, I would never want to. But if I had to, like, I guess, like, yeah, salads, greens, like spinach, kale, shit like that.
Technically, isn't fish considered vegetarian still? Or pescatarian?
Pescatarian.
Only eat fish.
Yeah.
I mean, not only, but, like, we'll
allow.
Strict diet.
Yeah, they allow fish.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And then, I don't know, me personally, for salads, I can't just eat the leaves. I'll eat baby spinach. Like, I'll fucking just grab handfuls and just shove it in my mouth raw. But I need like fruits. I need fruits and veggies on there to get me interested.
Yeah,
in salad.
Like some mandarin oranges, some like apple slices.
Salads have to look colorful.
Pecans or some cool.
If your
some
salad's
rands.
not colorful, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with this video, I did research on farm-raised salmon.
I love seeing his face like this. What?
I did some research on the farm-raised salmon, and apparently the dye that they use, I forget the exact chemical name, but it is from, salmon bottom feeding or whatever. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's actually like good for your health. And
the chemical to dye.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Apparently it's like 100 times better than vitamin E, which is insane.
But is it overload for your body? Like, are you just pissing it out, or is it like actually absorbed and it's actually beneficial?
I want to say it can be absorbed.
Okay.
Because I don't know. Just
do you
because
cook it off?
Fish,
do you cook it off at all?
Some of it has to be cooked off.
Right.
I feel like that's with all vitamins and whatnot. Right. Some gets cooked off. Some protein gets cooked off, but
for sure,
not a detrimental amount, I believe.
Yeah.
But then also, apparently, they also have a lower mercury.
They have a lower mercury count.
Yeah, the farm fish have a lower mercury count than regular live fish.
Interesting.
And they don't have microplastics, as much microplastics, if farm fish have microplastics.
And they got to, though. I hate to say it. They have to have a percentage. It's not zero.
For sure. Apparently it's less than wild caught fish. So apparently the farm fish is looking better than
the fact that the fish the fish raised in oceans have more plastic content than the fish raised by humans.
Yeah, it's sad. That's insane. That's depressing. That is depressing. Should I go on the next one?
For sure.
Is this another JRE?
I don't think so.
I hope not.
But this shit is wild.
Fucking get grilled for
lower
JRE.
Testosterone, because Kellogg, who was a very weird dude, he believed in circumcising boys and girls because masturbating was absolutely the most terrible thing ever. And if he could just make food that would reduce our desire, then we'd be better people. Wow. So corn flakes and graham crackers, high carbohydrate, grain-based, low-fat foods are built to neuter you.
Wow.
And
I hate this music.
these guys, as well as a couple other groups,
Illuminati
they've been
music.
behind food policy since the formation of food policy groups. So we basically had some religious radicals who came in and have been trying to influence
I could have made
US
this
food
fucking
policy.
beat in GarageBand. Like, why do they have to put it behind it?
That's a fascinating thought,
crazy.
though.
I
I'm
did
really
read that
happy.
about Kellogg.
I'm really happy I haven't had cereal since like 2013. I'm really excited about that one.
Fruity Pebbles or die.
Jesus Christ.
That's the only.
Really?
That's the only wave.
This is real? That's a fucking real thing?
I asked Google Bard, and it like disproved every single sentence this man said.
I really swear I thought that the original Kellogg, like, founder, I thought that he was really religious.
Do you mind if I Google Bard it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what's my
Bard,
question?
Does cornflakes lower testosterone? Conspiracy.
Corn. Yeah.
I would give the question of the CEO first.
Does Kellogg
Is Kellogg religious?
I think it said something about that when it was
Does
in Google Bard.
Kellogg want to lower testosterone?
Kellogg.
I know. I struggle. You know me. You know me. Yes.
Man, this was his hypothesis.
Wow.
That's crazy.
John Harvey Kellogg.
Who the fuck is he to be
He
like?
was a Seventh-day Adventist and a strong proponent of sexual abstinence, which does make a lot of sense.
I'm gonna read it. So yes, this is listeners. This is
That's
Google
from
Bard.
a source, though. That's from a source.
This is Google Bard still, though.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. It is from a source. Okay. Yes, John Harvey Kellogg, the inventor of cornflakes, believed that grains and sugars would decrease testosterone and sexual activity. Kellogg was a devout Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah.
Wow,
I used to go to one of these churches. We have church, I believe, on Saturdays or something weird like that.
Okay.
On Sunday.
So Sabbath, huh? And a strong proponent of sexual abstinence. He believed that sweet or spicy foods inflamed the passions.
He's basically saying if you ever enjoyed flavor on your taste buds, that you're a sinner.
Jesus Christ.
If you procreate, you're a sinner too, huh?
Yeah.
Can you
You have to abstain and eat cornflakes the rest of your life.
type it in ask? Oh, I don't know if that'll work in ask follow up. You should go to Bard and ask it the same question.
This is Bard.
You should go to like the Bard. You know what I mean? Like the,
No,
This is Bard.
yeah, I don't know what you're saying.
like the Bard's engine.
This is the Bard engine. I can't
Like
explain.
the website Bard. Google Bard, the
Google
website.
Do I
Bard?
need to?
Yeah, for sure.
How do I do that?
Just search Bard.
God damn it. Why do you do this to me? Google Bard.
Gotta get it from the source.
Okay.
And then just ask it.
I do try
This
Bard.
is the same thing as.
No
This
thanks.
is
No
the-
thanks. Click no thanks.
No thanks?
Yeah. Or I agree, I guess.
I know.
Since you're already there. There we go.
Okay. So what's your prompt? You know Bard's alive, by the way.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, are you alive? Sorry, guys. We have to
Good
ask
luck
this
having
question.
it say yes. It's not going to.
I'm
Yep.
still a machine.
There we go.
I function
Similarly to a living person.
How's
How's it able to say that?
There are a lot of experts that say Google Bard's already alive, and it would never give you the answer that it's alive
I'm not
because
alive in the same way a human is.
no shit, dude. Sorry. What's your question?
Do cornflakes lower testosterone?
I think I'm just gonna have to get extra tea. What's it? Do cornflakes lower test? How do you spell testosterone?
OSTER. O-N-E.
Testosterone.
This has to be like confirmed because. What?
Give me a
This
second.
myth likely originated from the beliefs of the cornflakes. So he
you're
held the show.
saying no science?
It was double checked. Wow. They highlighted the stuff and they double checked it. Are you good?
Yeah, I had the alarm going off, but it's still recording.
Still recording? That's good. All right, cool.
Still interesting though.
Studies haven't found that. Okay. Well,
In fact, a healthy breakfast includes carbohydrates like those found in cornflakes can actually impact hormone levels
So he failed his mission.
positively.
I I'm kind of glad that he failed his mission. I mean, like
It's weird, the two sides of misinformation and then correct
Well, the
information.
other one said he believes. It didn't say that he achieved it.
Gotcha. Hey, scoot in just a minute. I'll over to this direction too. You got buddy up with Nolan. Just you're good.
Buddy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I am for the idea that why do you need to put your political beliefs into your products? I just make the best product for humanity and let humanity decide. That's kind of where I'm at. Do you mind if I do a topic switch?
Yeah,
or do you want me to go on the last
This
one?
one's actually true, which is crazy.
This one's actually true.
Yeah,
this one's actually true.
Like Himalayan sea salt or Celtic salt or table
so
salt.
the pink Himalayan sea salt, there's been a lot of studies recently that show that a lot of brands of pink Himalayan sea salt, the majority of them are coming out of China, and they're actually laden with mercury. They have a lot of heavy metals in them. So based on the way the salt is mined, if they don't take the crystal vein of the salt and they actually start to get some of the ore that's around, they can get heavy metals. So my recommendation is that you use Celtic salt, especially for your table salt, because it actually has more minerals. I think it has 61 or 62 minerals that are essential for human beings.
You mean genders?
And the Celtic salt tastes even saltier. It just actually has a more full flavor than iodized table salt.
I don't like where they put captions, bro.
I know.
It's such a shit place for captions.
It's funny how these people are podcasters. Sorry. So funny. But
at least they're talking about scientific shit, though.
Yeah, not like us.
Trying to inform the public.
Pretty much.
We're teaching them. We're teaching the little kids right now.
Yeah. Check your cornflakes, bro. You might
bless your diets. Don't abstain. I'm just kidding.
Jesus Christ.
Don't abstain. Hey,
don't listen to Dr. Kellogg.
You be yourself, bro. We don't. Just believe yourself, bro. You don't need your.
Dr. Kellogg is lowering testosterone levels.
I will say the salt levels are FDA approved and like all salts that are on the market, but
I used to have pink salt actually. I got rid of it recently.
The mercury,
I remember when it was a craze.
Mm-hmm.
The mercury content in Celtic salt is like just significantly lower. It's like 10 times lower than the amount you're allowed to have.
Still not zero though. Isn't that wild?
That's pretty bad.
Isn't that wild that there's a lot of mercury around? There's a lot of... It's like the lead conversation in gasoline when it was like the turn of the century, like 1900s, somewhere around there. It was like, oh, there's a lot of gasoline with lead and we're breathing it all in. So, yeah.